Hello, welcome to the Old Man Orange Podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunnigan.
And, dude, this is like probably the fastest that we've ever gotten another DCU movie out, especially for one that's connected. It's like what? It was like a month ago that Long Halloween Part 1 came out, and boom, we're already at Long Halloween Part 2, which is actually kind of cool, because it almost keeps it almost sort of fresh in your mind, I guess, from the first one. Because I almost want to say, it didn't take like 6 months at least for like The Dark Knight Returns Part 2. Maybe not that long, but it
felt like it felt like 6 months. My mind wants to tell me it was like 6 months, but no, this one had a very fast turnaround time, and they obviously probably planned it that way. But at the same time, it's just like, I don't know, maybe they're just getting more funding, or maybe that new animation style, even though it looks really good, is just more cost effective or something. Who knows what it is?
Yeah, I don't know if that there is just more like money to be made in these nowadays, because because now we're just getting one. It seems like at least every 2 months, there's some form of a DCU movie. And this right here, I think almost, if you combine Part 1 and Part 2 together, is the longest Batman movie ever made.
Yeah, and you know what? Before we go into this movie, I do want to say my feeling watching this one was the same as watching the last one, which was it was good, and I definitely recommend it. But I think they're definitely two movies made to be watched continually together. And unfortunately, since I'm still away from home, we're actually doing this 2 very different times again. It's like 1:30 in the afternoon for you. It's like 11 o'clock for me, like p.m. So
yeah.
So it's one of those. So sorry for if my energy seems different, but so I couldn't go and watch my copy, because if I was back home, I would totally have like just watch this right when I got this one, and then watch this new one just to refresh my mind and give it the experience of being one long movie. But I think that this definitely, if you put them together, you might have the best Batman movie here.
Yeah, no, I think so too, because it's pretty solid together, I mean, you combine this experience with The Dark Knight Returns, complete copy, and so on, and it's like you got like almost like 2 of the best Batman stories you could kind of ever have in animated form, or in any form, really, in that matter. But and to top it off, that new animation art style, like I can never say too much good stuff about that. Like I really like the way that looks. I feel that kind of can work for any format that they're going with. It always looks neat. It really feels like a comic book in animated form, not just a straight up animation, I guess. It gives that sort of feel to it. But yeah, this thing starts off right at the bat. We already got I think that's nice, because the other one was sort of the build up one, and not saying that that's not cool too, but here it's like we're going, and we got the action right off the bat. We got Poison Ivy. She's taking over Bruce Wayne right here in his manor and everything like that. It's been, I guess, 3 months is how they've sort of separated it since the last one.
They did have trimmed down time, because I want to say that he was there. I think the way they did it in the book, and I wish I read the book recently, but I want to say the way they did it in the book is at the end of 1 month, he got taken over by Poison Ivy. We jump to the next month, and maybe he's gone for a little while, and then by the end of that issue, he's been snapped out of it due to Catwoman.
Yeah, maybe that's exactly how it's kind of going.
Because they skip over like 3 months, and like that had to be way easier. Like, okay, which months does the least amount of shit happen?
Yeah.
Or like, what's the least interesting part of the book? And I don't remember if that's the case, or if they just condense it or post it together. Because here's the thing: I haven't read the graphic novel in a long time, even though it's one of my favorite Batman books. That being said, I feel like I remember all the major plot points and all that, and the way they go about things. And I can tell there are things they've changed and moved around. One of the big ones, I think Sal Maroni dating Sophia. I want to say that's a new one.
I think so too. See, and that's the thing. I remember we talked about in the last episode we did of this. We're like, we should read the book before we get to this next one. I feel like this just came by so fast. It was like, oh shit, it's already in. We gotta go pick it up now. It was
exactly.
It was one of those ones. It just kind of came out, and it was like you feel like you had time, but it's like, oh, I guess we didn't have time. But one of these days we'll have to revisit the book again too, just to kind of get that full feeling of it, because that's such a good Batman story in itself. But I guess to focus on the animated version, sort of how this one sort of goes, because I knew that there was going to be things different, because that's what they even said in the special features of the last one. They're going to change the ending on us and everything like that. But the first part, we're going in. We got Poison Ivy, we're bringing in kind of all the supervillain type characters, and now you got the mobsters kind of going like, oh, who are all these loonies coming out of the woodworks? This is our turf. This is our territory. I don't need no Mad Hatter.
I will say they do a good job of they left the Riddler out of it, but I guess the Riddler would only really complicate it. I mean, I think the Riddler was almost there in the comic, just to be like, here he is.
Yeah.
And you didn't really need him there so much. But
because the Riddler's not there, and then there's one other character I thought that wasn't there too, but I could be wrong.
At some point, the Roman hires the Riddler to play out a bunch of different scenarios of who could be the holiday killer, and it's almost just kind of a way to present I think almost to kind of throw you off the trail and kind of expect more people, possibly. Mm-hmm. And then it ends with them, like, just, I think Sophia or someone grabbing him by the back of the neck and just chucking him out in the street. And then at some point, Batman finds him drunk, because I think it's like maybe St. Patty's Day, finds him drunk and then interrogates him for information. But, like, yeah, I want to say the book even did more of a job of, like, if you ask me which one I like more, I honestly couldn't tell you. I'll say the movie moves it it all makes a little bit more sense, but there's something about reading that book for the first time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, because you really are on this great murder mystery investigation through all the holidays with all your major characters. I mean, that book in itself is like probably the best book you could pass to anybody for their first time Batman comic book experience. Like, it's the greatest, like, gateway book, because it's like, it sort of introduces to you all the core characters, but it's not so much ridiculous characters that throws you off that you've never heard of. You know what I mean? It's mostly all the ones like, oh, okay, there's Poison Ivy. Oh, okay, there's Scarecrow. You know, there's Riddler. There's Joker, and so on. You know, Two-Face. It's all like the big hitters, but then almost giving you this very solid story. I mean, I guess that's also like handing you one of the best Batman books, but, you know, there's so many Batman books out there. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's just a great way to spawn off to everything else.
It also feels kind of like in the book, from what I remember, the Roman family, they're all a big deal. They were all there, and Carmine was the biggest of them all, of course. Mm-hmm. But this one, it feels like they pull away from the family, make the family kind of less and make them more just kind of there, and give a chance for Carmine to really stand out. And I think that's kind of interesting, because with the exception of this story, he seems to always just be, he's a character they reference. So there's a flashback. I know that Scott Snyder did Batman Eternal, where he brought Carmine Falcone back as a main villain, which I want to read. I haven't got around to reading it yet.
Yeah, that book's like so thick of issues too.
I know. Yeah, I finally got it, and it's just eyeing me. But yeah, I'll probably read it back on the plane.
Because I remember that was that story too, where it was like I think they had those come out every other week. Like it was almost like way too ridiculous. It was like whoa, but there's a reason why comic books come out once a month.
Yeah. So that's one I want to read, just because I think that Carmine Falcone can be more. Because when he was first introduced, he was just a generic gangster. And then he was still a generic gangster, but they kind of add a little bit more to him. Mm-hmm. And then he's popped up in other books here and there and flashbacks and whatever. But then this one, I really feel like they make a real character out of him. Like, they give you're not rooting for him, but they give you a little bit of empathy here and there. There's even that scene, because and there's a scene that in the book when Bruce goes to when Carmine Falcone's father brings him to Thomas Wayne. I can't take him to the hospital. They have got men waiting there to kill him. Can you save him? And Bruce just watched from a distance. In this, they have a good scene together where usually I feel like, I know he's kid Bruce, but I feel like sometimes they write him to be just kind of a dumb kid. Like, oh, my dad, Mister. Yeah. Where this, he was still an 8-year-old kid. He was still shy, kind of sheepish. But at the same time, he was like, felt like Bruce still, and felt like aware, like knew, like, you're the Roman. This is like, my dad. No, he says, your dad's the Roman. This is, you know what that means? It means you're going to become the Roman. Smart kid. Hold on, like, just kind of like a good quick little scene like that, Yeah,
just kind of well, even because it ties to like almost the very end of the movie, and I thought that was just kind of an interesting way that it kind of goes, like, when we'll get there when it does. But yeah, just they have this kind of thing. It's like, I also like to, it's like, Thomas, I brought my son to, can you fix him? Can you patch him up in your library? Like, did you have to bring him to the library? I don't know where your house goes. I just walking around here and so on, kicking down doors, and I was sick and tired of kicking down doors, and I found a library. You could have just dropped them off in the the front of the house. Nah, too many windows.
What's this? A first edition Huck Finn? Rip those fucking pages out. Blot the blood with it.
Oh, it's signed by Mark Twain himself? I fucking hate that guy.
He's too soft on him. Too soft on what? You know who I mean. Like, oh, right. Old school Italians.
So yeah, we gotta get the flashback there and so on. But then as you kind of go on, you know what the other thing too in this one is, I feel this one also gives Catwoman, I feel like, more scenes than I even remember her having in the book too. I'm not saying that she's not prominent in the book, but they almost make her like even more of this kind of like partner figure to Batman, almost like if she was going to become the next Robin. It almost has that sort of feeling. You know, obviously she's older and so on, but
yeah, well, they also do this thing with her where I feel like before she was the femme fatale that kind of, she had her own motives and she was helping out Batman a little bit, but still kind of helping out herself. And in this, she seems to be more of his partner, but her whole thing about like, cause there was the whole aspect that her father is Carmine Falcone and trying to figure out about him as much as she can. That being said, though, it was more of just like a little stinger at the end of the book, where they're kind of like dropping those hints very early on.
yeah, no, so they're definitely kind of getting that across there. And I mean, she has her own motives of like why she needs to figure out, you know, this information from Carmine and so on. But she almost plays like almost how like you would say Batgirl does before Batgirl's allowed on the team. You know what I mean? Like she's always seems to be kind of following around, showing up, even saving him here and there. But then Batman's like, I don't need a partner. I like to be alone.
That whole that whole thing. I work better alone. All that shit. Yeah, well, they also do a whole thing like they don't have they have a little bit of romance there, but they don't force it down too much. But they kind of imply that it's there, and they even know each other's identities, which they kind of get across the very end of the first part, which with that in itself was a big shock. But something else I feel about this, I always felt like the book, as well as this movie, did a good job of bouncing it out of being a traditional crime story with like traditional kind of like, you know, like organized crime story, then with supervillains on the side, because it is kind of like supervillains kind of rising up. Because the first half, movie wise at least, we're dealing with the crime families. But once in a while, supervillain's going to come in and just mess shit up for a second, and we got to deal with that. Then back to the shit with the Roman. And then this is more of like supervillains rising more and more and more, almost kind of forcing the crime families out of the way. Kind of like, no, their time is up. It's now, the city now belongs to Joker, belongs to Scarecrow, belongs to Penguin.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that kind of like those two meshing together and so on. And then, of course, the other thing going on really big in this one is like the Two-Face, you know, rise to power, turning of Harvey Dent, you know, it's like, hey, remember when we made that pact up on the, you know, top of Gotham PD? And we all said, yeah, we're going to figure this holiday murder out. You know, we spit in each other's hands, you know, and jerked each other off up there.
It was a long Halloween indeed.
I don't really know why we did that, but, you know, Harvey Dent was really keen. He's like, this is what guys in college do when they want to solidify a deal.
Well, there's no three-sided coin, so this is the only way to do it. Whoever comes first, he loses.
Well, what are we losing? Oh, I don't know, but, you know, it's just one of those nights.
It's all for the pack. But the weird thing is, it's kind of like we all created a system by we all locked eyes. It was a system, like my eyes, his eyes, my eyes, his eyes, my eyes. We all locked it. There's this weird system. We just all picked up on it. You know, like if you leave a clock in a room, the two clocks in a room long enough, out of tune, they eventually sync up. Yeah. Same thing with jerking each other off.
You know, and in that pact, we knew that we were going to figure out whoever this, you know, baby bottle using fucking maniac was, you know, and lo and behold, that kind of turned me sort of crazy in the process.
I'm just like imagining just like a room of like a bunch of Warner Brothers producers. And then like, you know, this is all on like the storyboards, you know, the animatic storyboards. I'm like, how did this get past the script phase? Someone had a vision.
You know what's the worst part too is we're literally look at someone's already made, you know, half-assed animations of it. So we've gone this far.
I feel like if we turn down now, we lose. He's starting to sound like Harvey.
Well, here, let's flip a coin on it.
Oh wait, there's more than two of us. You know what that means? Like, oh, no, we're just cutting it.
But yeah, no, we got Harvey here. He's trying to I don't like how Harvey just gets really into like solving this murder mystery too. It's like, I remember there's that one scene where I think they're like kind of I think it's 4th of July, and they're sort of at like the docks kind of boardwalk looking area there, and someone blasts. Who gets shot at that event? I can't remember, but Harvey jumps over. I just love how he just jumps over the boardwalk and starts sliding down like the wooden pole like he's a firefighter. He's like, "Get back here! I'm gonna kick your ass." Be like, Harvey, whoa, you're just running into the dark. That guy's got a gun. You're just running out there with nothing. Oh, I guess he's got that gun that Gordon gave him, but...
I feel like next time they do Two-Face in a movie, they're probably going to do some things like Harvey used to be a linebacker, or Harvey was into bodybuilding. Like, if you look at him in the Telltale game, it's like, oh, no, you don't need Batman. That dude is just like, he's like buff. He's like as buff as Arnold Schwarzenegger in that game. So I think as time goes on, they're going to like... Was he always a lawyer, or did he do a lot of like sit-ups at some point? Like, oh, yeah, we could sit-ups, maybe a little bit of like a little bit of judo or some shit.
Yeah, well, because I feel like even as being the sort of the DA, all you just need is just a couple of those shots. Like, yeah, here's him just doing some jujitsu classes. Here's him lifting some weights. Like, and that would just define that. Like, okay, so he's a guy who like really takes his job seriously. You know what I mean? Just like tip-top shape. I just love how he's just running on the boardwalk to go kick this guy's ass.
And then that guy got shot too. I think that guy got shot.
Yeah, well, because then Catwoman just keeps appearing out of there, and she's like trying to save him, and Harvey's like, "Out of the way! I'm gonna kick his ass first," and yeah, and then he gets knocked out. I think who the hell knocks him out? But then he gets knocked out, and then he's left there, and then there's the gun there, and it's like one's like, "What the fuck did I just do?" Like, there's a dead guy there. For some reason my pants are down, and
the coin's still here, luckily. Shit.
That's just where the holiday kills. Like, no, it'll be funnier when he wakes up and for some reason his pants are down. He's trying to piece it together. I really wish I was here to see the reaction, but
Well, I'll say this, going off the holiday killer for a minute. This movie does a good job of like bouncing between like, because sometimes when you make a movie, they kind of like go too drastic. Like, I know we've used this reference a couple of times, but I'm going to compare and contrast just for a second. Like Batman Hush, you read that book, same writer, Jeff Loeb. Mm-hmm. You read that book, it's obvious from a mile away that it's Tommy Elliott. But then they have the bait and switch with him dying. And you think like, oh yeah, I guess it's not him. Like, oh, it was him. It was Clayface. But then this one, then they come out with the movie, and it's just another persona for the Riddler. That's all it is. And that's like, it makes sense. It makes total logical sense, and I get why they did it. But it's still not Hush. It's still not Tommy Elliott, So it's like this right here. It's like not everything's exactly the same, but enough of it's the same to come together. Like, because when you think about the mystery in the book, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because there's actually two killers, and they weren't working together though. They're working independently of each other. Just for some reason, they didn't kill that day for whatever reason. That happens, but doesn't change the fact it's a good story. Doesn't change the fact that there's a lot of character development that's really fun, a lot of good action. Where this, it fine tunes it and makes a lot more sense of everything.
Yeah, it definitely kind of smooths it out there and so on. Because I always want to say in the book, it's like there's the multiple killers is kind of the thing. Well, there's two killers, but it's like, because was it in the book? Cause the book Alberto Falcone was one of the killers, right?
It was Alberto Falcone.
Because I know that was the big switch on the last movie. Is it like, oh shit, he's fucking dead?
Yeah, Alberto Falcone was the last killer, and then was the main killer. Mm-hmm. And then we found out Gilda at some point started killing, and they said something like, well, Alberto Falcone had like an alibi for this, had an alibi for that. Like, I guess we'll never know. And then like Gilda is just kind of giving exposition, talking to herself, but also kind of talking to Harvey and throwing all the evidence into the furnace. Mm-hmm. And that's where it's revealed, oh, Gilda was the second killer. Mm.
Yeah, well, it's kind of weird. Or I was just going to say in this one, because they kind of made it out like, oh, you're not going to see it coming, not going to see it coming. And then I was like, well, they're still leaning on that Gilda, but maybe they're just doing that, thinking that because that's your book knowledge, you're kind of going with. And then at the very end, it's like, oh, no, she was. So they didn't really actually do the bit. I thought it was gonna be something completely different that I wasn't gonna expect at all. I don't know why. A lot of times in movies, I just kind of think it's like, oh, they're gonna make it something that I'm never gonna expect what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then it's like, oh no, they were going with Gilda still.
For a split second, I thought it was going to be Sophia because Sophia, I mean, she had a big presence in the book, but she also had even kind of a bigger. I like the way they present her in this. I also liked her voice actor a lot too. She did a good job. I guess because the thing is, like, when I read the book, I just kind of like, Father, let me tell you. I kind of got that across. But in this, she had a little bit more of a kind of like more of a Jersey or kind of like even kind of like Brooklyn kind of like tough badass act, and she kind of I don't know, just something about her seemed a lot I don't know, she had more of a presence in this, I felt like. That being said, though, she is the killer in the sequel book, Dark Victory. So for a second, I'm like, I wonder if they're just going to skip a couple of chapters and do that.
Yeah.
But no, they don't.
No, well, and also I do like the way she's almost kind of built in this one because they give her like this like roller derby, like Falcone's like, I sent my daughter off to roller derby school, and so on, like, and she's just there and she's just big and intimidating. It's almost like, and there's that part where she's like, even like she's like, yo, Dad, I want to be a part of the team and stuff, and he's like, no, I can't. I mean, I love you, honey, but literally, if I bring you in there, they'll be like, oh, he's gonna retire soon. Look at him, he's got his bulked up daughter coming in to take over the family business.
Well, I want to say that was even somewhat of a plot point to an extent. Maybe not that exactly, but in the book, I want to say, I'm sorry to compare so much. In the book, this happened. The movie, that happened. But no, in the book, I want to say it's something to the effect of like, her and her father had a better relationship than Alberto, and that almost made him sad because, like, God damn it, she can fucking do it. Yeah. She has the ability, but she's a woman, so fuck, all these old world fucks are just gonna eat me alive if I hire my fucking daughter. Or I
got my nerdy fucking son.
Who likes crossword puzzles all fucking day.
Yeah. I mean, like, could he at least just jerk off to one of, like, the girls on the cover of those crossword puzzles? Like, Dad, it's not a girl. Put some tits on her, it'd be good enough. At least I feel like you're my own son.
My boys beat the meats.
It's like, I mean, like, I don't know, I would have thought that about, a kid reading a fucking Spider-Man comic would be terrible, but then this crossword bullshit comes up. I don't even know what to think of this. I can't even tell. What is he? He likes crosswords. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing to be proud of that.
Yeah, it's just like, he's like, maybe if I just beat it out of him, maybe just remind him how weak he is, one day he'll come around and won't try to kill me in my sleep.
Yeah, I slept around a couple times, and then he comes and he's doing word searches now. That's even worse.
Falcones don't read. They fucking kill.
Yeah, so I thought I'd slap him one more time. Next thing you know, he's doing Sudoku. The tough love thing's not working out on me. I've been reading this book. It says Tough Love by Bill Cosby. It's one of these ones that, like, it only went to print once, and I happened to get a copy of it, and then Bill decided to do his, like, speaking to rainbows bullshit. Oh, wait, you guys were not supposed to read this book anymore? Well, shit, this is what I had. I thought he was a family figure. Why'd he keep releasing all this stuff?
Someone's getting thrown off the fucking bridge tonight.
And I'm gonna go get Bill and throw him off there, too.
He did that himself, don't
disrespected
worry.
my family.
I saw that Fat Albert movie in theaters. It fucking sucks. It was family night.
I was trying to be open-minded. Usually I would not see something that had a fat guy on the cover. Just saying. What'd you think I was thinking?
There's a reason my sister sits at the far end of the table on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm afraid of her being close to me, Afraid people might think. You know what I mean?
Don't want to be associated.
Yeah. I like to work out. Unlike my nerdy son. Unlike my My daughter, at least, she keeps up the family tradition, but still. Where we getting at again? Yeah, holiday killer. Who's killing all my family members?
So, this is just like riding like a police interrogation.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but yeah, as it says, it kind of goes on. You still got the holidays going on, people getting killed here and there. Batman, Gordon, and Harvey Dent still can't seem to figure it out. You know, Batman. We still got the Batman going on in this one too, who's kind of like Batman's like he's like, oh man, I thought I was getting this job. I was just gonna punch people in the face and use all these martial arts skills. I didn't realize that in that 10 years of training, I needed to read some detective novels.
Yeah, that seems like something. I don't remember him saying that in the book. Maybe he did.
No, I want to say in the book, he's still kind of like, he's not like Batman, or like maybe like God Batman yet, but he's like definitely like, yeah, I know my shit. I've been doing it for 5 years or whatever.
He's capable. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's a bad aspect to have it where it's like, oh shit, Batman, like, you know, he's still kind of working his game, and because this is almost like I feel like this is almost like Batman, like would be like Batman Year 2. That's kind of almost how I picture this character. Like he's been doing enough that he kind of knows what's up, but there's still more things he needs to figure out.
Well, I feel like this book was always implied to be Year 2 or Year 3 because I don't remember if it's Long Halloween or Dark Victory, but at some point, Detective Flass from Year 1 is one of the victims. So I always felt like it's implied to be Year 1 and Year 2. And plus, Carmine Falcone is a very passing character in Year 1, along with like the guy who kidnaps Jim Gordon Jr. was, I think, the first guy to die in Long Halloween.
Yeah, I think you think that's right. Yeah. Because it does definitely tie in a lot, because that almost feels like also the order. If you gave someone Batman Year 1, you almost could get. I guess Year 2 is more like an interesting tale, but then you have this one and so on. But yeah, as this thing sort of goes on, and we get to our build up where of course Two-Face he's got the Marconi family guy in there, and at first he's like, okay, you're gonna turn fucking Falcone in and everything. We're gonna work the deal out and so on. And then of course in the court he switches that up on him. He's like, nah, I'm not gonna fucking do it. I'm just gonna tell jokes and get the jury on my side. He's like, dude, what are you fucking doing? Like, you're fucking up with me. You're making this thing in my mind go crazy. I don't even know what this is yet.
Yeah. Oh, before we actually want to speak on just Batman again, just for a second. I thought they did a good job of like, when he got dosed with the toxin, the scarecrow toxin, and having the flashbacks to his mother and all that, I thought that was actually really good. It was actually interesting seeing, because you see it in the books every so often, but you never see Batman that vulnerable that often, not to the point of where he's calling for his mother and where he breaks down crying. Now, granted, if that happened, like he was like Shinji in Evangelion or something, like that happened like all the time, like maybe he's not my favorite superhero, but when it does happen, it doesn't happen without reason. So that part right there, I think really kind of made you hurt for Bruce. Yeah,
and that scene's really cool because the animation totally changes style when they're in the Scarecrow world and everything.
Gets a lot more scratchier.
Yeah, it gets scratchier and kind of almost like pixelated, but like in a cool like way. Like I like that a lot. We just got that. Almost gave me the feeling of like in Arkham Asylum, when you sort of get that where you go into like the in the Scarecrow world and it's like way different looking and everything like that. It
has like ash kind of coming off things, sort of.
Yeah, where it's just kind of like raining down, and then of course. He's dropped. I like when he's dropped off. There's like that family that shows up, and Batman's just there. Like he comes out. It's like Crime Alley, and it's literally just another family gun movie theater. Like, okay, if we go this way, we can get to the car faster. So on like, honey, wasn't this the news report like 20 years ago where someone died? Yeah, fucking tabloids make shit up all the time. Come on, Billy.
Statistics are horse shit. What'd I teach you?
Yeah. If I would have known that this Rocket Man movie that you wanted to fucking go see. Was not an Apollo 13 film. And then
no fictional characters.
And then I just love how just Batman there is just kind of comes out. He's having flashbacks. It's all and then you just see the dad has that look on his face. Oh shit! It's some fucking hopped up loon in a fucking Batman costume. Hey, get the fuck out of here! You need to get fucking home. Yeah, come on, honey. We'll take the long way. But,
well, my
Mom,
question
is, don't go.
Zorro. Well, is that the same family that pops up at the end doing trick or treating?
Oh, I didn't put two and two together. Maybe that fucking is
Maybe it is.
Like, God,
For some- my
you can't
kid-
believe
I
it. My kid just saw this drugged up loony in the fucking alleyway, and now that's what he wants to dress like.
That's what I
Honey,
was thinking because I was.
That's the superhero of Gotham. That is not a fucking superhero of Gotham. Just a drugged out maniac that punches people.
Like, who's your favorite superhero, Billy? Superman? Green Arrow? No, I like the Batman. My dad's in the corner, like, reading newspaper, like, we fucking go again with this horse shit. It wasn't the fucking Batman. It was some crackhead stumbling home from a Halloween party.
Yeah, I know it wasn't Halloween. It was like Father's Day or something, but still. Yeah. That's how long those benders can last, Billy. Keep that in mind.
Ask Uncle Vito. I don't know why everyone's Italian.
Yeah, we're in Gotham. If half the people here, they're either Italian or you're Irish. Let's be honest.
Italian, Irish, or Jewish.
Yeah, or Jewish. Yeah, it's just old-timey gangster, ways.
No, but like...
And if you're Polish, no, we tell you to get out of here. That's just how it is.
Unless you're Charles Bronson, because what can we really do about it?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's that. Yeah, I just love that. Just the look on that father's face when he sees the Batman there. He's just like, oh, fuck it. No, shit. I knew that we were going to run into something when we went down the alley. I fucking knew it.
Well, they're even kind of like, I think he needs help. Like, I don't care. And they just kind of
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, not my fucking job.
My job was to take you to see the stupid fucking Rocket Man movie. We did that. We're going home and watching the Knicks.
The man took his fucking underwear out and turned it into a flag. How am I supposed to get that out of your mind?
So help me if you fucking grew up with a fetish, Billy. So fucking help me.
But yeah, Batman. And then Catwoman comes and saves him. He's just like, Mom, no, Mom, can you hold me and read me stories? I'd like to one up to Three Little Pigs.
Like, I just gotta get him. Like, just drops him off at Alfred. Just take his shit.
Yeah, like
I'm not ready. I'm working through my own shit. My brother tried to kiss me on a yacht before he died the other day.
It was, yeah, exactly. And now this 35-year-old man's calling me mom.
You think a lady walking around dressed like a cat would be prepared for this kind of thing? No, not the case.
No, not at all. Like, one of those ones. But then Batman, he figures it out, and he gets back to business. Just good old Alfred T. cures everything.
I'm trying to. There's a fucking. There's like a fucking horsefly in here or some shit. Sorry about that. Anyway. Oh shit. What was I saying?
Something. Alfred. Something.
Alfred T. Oh yeah. Before I went on the thing on Batman, we went on Batman Spender. We were talking about
Scarecrow.
About Sal Maroni.
Oh yeah.
Sal Maroni and the way how he was just kind of like. They also do a good job of making Sal Maroni more of a character, because I remember him just being there for a minute, being kind of a loudmouth. Like the whole thing with his dad was that in the book originally?
See, because I don't know. I don't remember that in there where it's like he goes to visit his dad on Father's Day and something like that and stuff. He's like, hey, you stay in the car. You know what I mean? Like, keep the. They got what's her name there with him?
Sophia.
Just be like, yeah, let's not. My dad doesn't like when I bring home, barrel-chested women.
Especially if they're the daughters of his archenemy.
Yeah, but it's really the barrel-chested women thing that he's got a problem with. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, he thinks the man should be the only one with the barrel chest, but still, okay, I'm gonna go visit him. I got
doesn't want to date a woman that can bench press more than him.
He's gonna call me he doesn't like when I can't pronounce cannoli right and whatnot, but he'll accept it anyways. He says that my Italian's terrible, but what do you expect? We live in Gotham, not Italy.
Yeah. Yeah, and that, I think if it did happen, maybe it just happened on a panel or two. Like, I don't remember it being a whole scene like that. Maybe it was.
Yeah.
But I think it kind of made more of him, and then made more of a character out of him. And then there's the whole, just a very small passing thing with him and Sophia, which I just think that was meant just to throw off expectations, because it doesn't really circle back in any big way.
Mm-hmm. Well, it almost had that sort of feeling, too. Like, wait a second. Was
Could they be in
Sophia,
cahoots?
was she the holiday killer? Because, you know, she really was kind of like, you know, you didn't see the two of them together, you know what I mean? Like, it had that kind of feeling, but I still didn't really think it was kind of going with that on this version of it. But you could tell that because he's kind of like involved with her and so on, and now that his dad's dead and Falcone's there, and then once it leads up to they start getting word that maybe it's Harvey Dent's the holiday killer and so on like that. So that's where that deal that like Harvey makes with him, he's like, well, fuck this guy. If he's the holiday killer, shoot my fucking dad on cannoli day. Like, you know what I mean?
It's Father's Day to you, but it was cannoli day to him.
You know what I mean? Well, fuck this guy. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna make him look like a fucking mook in court, and then I'm gonna throw acid on his face.
That part, like the insanity they drew on his face, the way he's like, "That shit eats through concrete, you prick!" You know, like even like I'm surprised they didn't hold back on because I feel like even though if something's rated R on these movies, they generally hold back on like fuck and all that. Where in this movie, I think they said it 2, maybe 3 times, but I feel like it's even if it's rated R, it's just like okay, we're gonna say it once in Suicide Squad, maybe we'll say it 2 or 3 times in Apocalypse War, just because it's the last one of this, and we already had Wonder Woman's arm get ripped off. Who are we fucking kidding by this point?
Yeah.
So I feel like that when they when Carmine Falcone just pull the fucking trigger, I'm like, oh, you guys did it. All right,
yeah.
You went there. Not that
it's weird because then they like later on though they also kind of like bleep it out sort of because like when Sophia comes out and she's like, "Die you mother!" It has one of those.
Yeah, exactly, one of those too.
So I thought that was kind of like, oh, okay, well, I guess can't have too many yet.
Yeah,
but still, it's weird because that's almost like what makes this one rated R. Because beyond that, this one feels like it's just like a hard PG-13 because it's not like it's extremely violent or I mean, like I guess it's enough to to be an R, but it's not like the Suicide Squad like Hell to Pass or whatever. What was it?
Hell to Pay.
Hell to Pay. Hell to Pass. It's Hell to Pass. But,
yeah.
You know.
Well, I feel like they kind of come across in a way where if they could make them PG-13, cool. And I think it was almost like their goal to make it PG-13. But when reviewing it, like, well, this many headshots, this many like walking in on a dead body, the corpse hanging on a noose, then the head coming off. No way you're gonna get around that. Like, even though if it is a nightmare scene, like, all right, just fuck it, throw in the few fucks.
Yeah, that's how it sort of felt, because it felt like it was one of those ones they were kind of going for it, and they're like, you know what, fuck it, I guess if we're over the line, we're over the line. And I think almost at this point, too, because it's like, what, we've had like maybe like 6 or 8 rated R movies, maybe even more than that, DCU ones.
They're usually Batman movies, or either odd Justice League.
Because I almost want to say, like, Justice League Dark
Killing Joke,
was one.
Killing Joke, first Justice League Dark, second Justice League Dark, which is Apocalypse War.
Yeah.
And then Hell to Pay.
Yeah.
4, and then this one. So 5. Yeah, there might be another one in there.
Yeah, there's probably a couple little ones in there you don't think. Oh, there's that one where it's the alternate universe.
Oh, the what if, like, Red Hood one. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's those ones. Well, there's a couple other ones too. There's the whatever, but like, yeah, so there's a few of them so far. So it's kind of like almost like now I just feel like that's almost kind of the common thing. It's almost like the PG-13 ones I think are going to be almost like, oh yeah, here's a PG-13 one. You know, the next just gonna be like the Superman one. Well, why is the Superman one rated R? Well, there's a shower scene of him getting out and just big old super cock swinging around.
They actually show it? Oh, they don't just show it. That's the only thing in the shot for like 3 whole minutes.
Yeah.
They rotoscoped it.
Yeah, exactly.
Why? Well, I think someone was watching a lot of Lars von Trier shit and felt like getting artsy in the middle of Superman versus Brainiac Part 2. I don't know. Yeah,
so yeah, that's what that one's going with. But yeah, I guess getting to Long Halloween when we get to our big kind of, I guess we're leading up to our, of course, Harvey Dent turns into Two-Face. He gets the acid on him, and now he's just gone full psychopath. I thought the other thing was kind of interesting is this goes back a little bit, but it's still Two-Face related. Is when Falcone's like in that flashback when the young Bruce Wayne's there and so on. Is how Falcone's like, here, have a coin, kid, and it's like the 2-headed like Two-Face style coin and whatnot. Which I almost thought that was gonna come. Unless I can't remember if that happened there. It's like Bruce never gave him because I almost made it feel like Bruce would have had that coin and then he would have gave it to Harvey Dent as like a friendship token type thing. I didn't know if that was like where it was, but I'm like. Because why would he give Bruce Wayne the coin and then like?
I think the coin was always his thing. Maybe he did give it to him as a token, but I feel like the coin was always his bit. So
Falcone's?
Maybe not. No, Two-Face.
No, but there's in the scene where Falcone's bleeding out and then like he's getting fixed up by Thomas Wayne.
Gotcha.
He hands Bruce the Two-Face coin, but I just don't remember where that kind of circulated back around, because it almost feels like if that led from there, I mean, it would be Bruce gets that as a kid, holds on to it, hands it over to Harvey Dent like as a friendship token. He's like, we jerked each other off.
Here's a coin. Here's money for it. Don't tell nobody about it. Is this a lot of money?
It's a fake coin. I can't get anything for it. He's like, yeah, well, you hold on to it. It's.
I'm so privileged. Is this a lot of money to people who aren't me? I don't know anymore. No, that whole part, like, I'm wondering at that scene if there's kind of like some kind of like unspoken. I think it was just more coincidental. Like maybe he realized it right there, but he didn't really respond to it. I'm wondering if there was kind of some unspoken thing, like he kind of knew it was Bruce Wayne, because he had no problem taking over, because he wanted to be cool with Bruce Wayne, but Bruce Wayne kept on saying no, fuck off. And then he's like, well, I got to take his shit then. I got to take all his assets. What else can I do? I try to be nice. And then he says a thing like, you get what you get, you get what you can by taking what you can get. It was something like that,
yeah,
right?
something like, yeah.
He repeats.
Yeah, whatever you can, the only things we can get, we have to take. I know it's not exactly how it is, but that's kind of
something to that effect. And when he says that to Carmine, he's like, yeah, still stands, or there's something to that effect, and he's not like affected when he hears it. So I'm wondering if he sort of already kind of knew to some extent, or if it's just something to the effect of like, oh, it's the kid, okay. And since this is like a less buffoonish and less like less meathead Carmine Falcone, he's a lot more of like, of course it's fucking the kid, no wonder, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's good, because that's like at the very end when, Carmine Falcone gets shot by Two-Face, breaks in with, he takes all the guys from Arkham and so on, and which is one of the parts I kind of think about, like the idea that, like, if you think about, like, if Two-Face, let's just say he's a brand new villain, he busts into Arkham, and yeah, he does free you, but like, I have a feeling that like a lot of people are like, yo, you've been working this for like 3 days, like, who the fuck says you're the leader? Like, you know what I mean? It almost seems kind of weird. Like, I almost don't picture Penguin right off the bat being like, I'm not listening to this fucking guy. Been doing this gig forever. I know he broke me out of here. I mean, like, I'll give a slap on the ass and, good day, but I'll give you a fucking job at my ice palace, but I'm gonna fucking work for you.
Yeah, you could be a table host or whatever. Yeah.
You could be a busboy. Yeah, you gotta start from the bottom and work your way up, is what I'm saying.
Even the guy that broke me out. No, but like that whole part right there. Yeah, because I even kind of thought that when I first read the book. Yeah. But at the same time, like, well, he has an in, maybe he knows the layout better. No, why would he know the layout better? I'm just making shit up. I don't know. I think it's one of those things, they just thematically, and it's not maybe he was calling the shots. He just says, like, I'm with you guys now. I'm going to go after Carmine. He wants a piece. I think it was just as simple as that.
Yeah, and that makes kind of sense. I could see every single one of those guys being like, yeah, fuck that guy.
And he was able to get Grundy on his side. I mean, you have Grundy on your side. Yeah. It's probably easier to call the shots for a moment, which that's actually, I know it's happened in the book at some point. I feel it was more passing in the actual Long Halloween comic, but Two-Face with Grundy for like muscle, I think it's a good team up right there.
Oh, I like that a lot too. I'm like, dude, I feel like you should see this more often. You know what I mean? Like that felt like a perfect kind of combo. Yeah, that was pretty neat. But yeah, it's like, yeah, he gets Joker on his side. He gets Penguin, gets Poison Ivy, and they do a really good job of Poison Ivy in this one too. I think just the look and feel of her and everything about that, like she's done really good. She only has like so much screen time, but it's all cool when she's there.
Yeah, she did a good job, but I think like sometimes you get a character like Poison Ivy, if she's not the main character of the story, she's the sexy femme fatale who could just kill anybody. I think that's kind of what it is if she's not the main character, or if she's not in Harley Quinn. So,
yeah. Well, in Harley Quinn, they make her talk. She almost feels like she's like Lana from Archer. That's how it comes across when she's in that one.
Yeah, actually, no, I don't want to dismiss her. I mean, I guess more like older books. That's kind of how she comes across. More recent books, they've actually slowly kind of turned her into an anti-hero, kind of, you know.
Well,
but,
yeah, because it's kind of weird because that's the same way of Catwoman too. I mean, Catwoman's kind of been a little bit more of the anti-hero of like from the earlier days than the other ones. But yeah, it feels like at some point like it's just like one of those ones they keep taking all the villains and turn them into like anti-heroes instead.
Yeah, like I want to say back in earlier books, she was just the sexy femme fatale character, and then they turned her into an eco-terrorist.
Yeah.
And now she's slowly kind of becoming an anti-hero for the Earth kind of thing. You know? So.
You know, I mean, granted, because I mean, realistically, if you kind of break it down, like at the end of the day, like technically Poison Ivy, like when depending on how she's wrote, of course, but like she really actually is doing. She's actually probably the most like heroic character of them all because her whole thing is just to turn the Earth back into like what it started as. Like, so when you kind of think about it, you're like, yeah, I mean, she is kind of doing it, but I mean, downfall is that she doesn't care who she kills in the process. So Batman don't like that.
There's that one.
If I want to chop a tree down and put a Bruce Wayne museum up, that's Batman's choice. Isn't that Bruce Wayne's choice? Batman's choice.
Just shows up. There's like just a lone little cherry tree, like just sitting out in this big empty field. Like, yep, that's right. Just like George Washington, I chopped down that fucking cherry tree. Just like lops it. Like, you need to call a whole fucking press conference here for this shit. Then just like fucking like 3 helicopters, each like holding a museum, just drop it down already built.
It's just like I just picture Gordon be like, was that really necessary? Jim, of course it's fucking necessary because you know what? Who we fucking hunting right now? Poison fucking Ivy. What's the number one way you can fucking piss her off is you fucking chop down a bunch of trees, plow a fucking field, and throw down something that seems so ridiculously unnecessary. She'll be here in 2 seconds. Come on, just here, crack a beer open. It's gonna be great.
Oh, are those dandelions growing bigger? No,
not anymore. Just start stomping on them.
Get the Roundup out.
It's her mortal enemy. It's her kryptonite, Roundup.
That and the Charizard.
But yeah, going back to that big battle, have all the things going on there. Of course, Falcone gets shot, you know, and then Sophia gets thrown out the window. And I like how like Catwoman's just like hold on to her, be like, it's almost that look like she's just like, you know, I want to save you, but let's be honest. Look at my body. Look at your body. You weigh like 8 times more than me.
If she could gesture to herself and then to her, she would have.
Yeah, exactly. And it's almost that one where somebody's like, I understand. Let's go.
Well, I even kind of like, she looks like she wanted to save her because I think old Catwoman, like back when the book was written, I think she would have just been like, I don't give a fuck about you. I just want to know if he's my dad or not, you know? So This was the case of just like, so long, you know, and but here it was a little bit more of like, no, come on, we got to, and then she's like, fuck it. But I want to say she, in the book, maybe not that, but I want to say something similar happened, and she was thought to be paralyzed because in the second book,
because she comes out in the second book and she's all like wrapped up and everything,
And so, it's also like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. So like in this one too, really, because it doesn't show her past the point, so she could be. It's a Batman book. She only fell on a car. Car broke her fall.
I feel like even though I really like Dark Victory, I don't feel like they would do that just because it's really, when you look at the story as a whole, like it's kind of redundant because it's somewhat of a repeat of the holiday killings, not that exactly, but something to that effect. The only thing that's really big about it is we see, because this is a story of, we see Harvey Dent becoming Two-Face, and by the end he's a criminal, but he's not really a full-on supervillain. He's more of just like, use the supervillains as a means to an end to kill Carmine. He's like, look, I crossed the line, there's no going back now, but I did what you guys didn't have the fucking balls to do. All right. So you want to lock me up? Go ahead, lock me up. Yeah, sure, whatever. I did the killings. And then it comes out. Then like the next one, because I still think he's trying to finish off the Falcone family, and he keeps on getting stopped by Gordon and Batman. He's just like, fine, this is what it's going to be. This is what it's going to be. I'm one of them now. And then Robin comes into it at the very end as well. So
yeah.
And then Sophia's the killer in that.
Yeah, that being kind of the big thing there and so on. Yeah, where this one, yeah, it's just like, well, one's like, hey, we made that pact that by next Halloween, he's going to be fucking in jail. Well, fuck it. You know what? We're just going to fucking kill him.
Let's bend a few rules.
Yeah.
We also did the thing with, because also, what was it? They also did the thing where the big twist was Gilda was never a sweet, wholesome little wife. She was originally married to Alberto Falcone secretly, and the family disapproved it. And I think it's also probably this subject matter. Maybe just her talking about this probably got them the R rating. Like, yeah, no way we can do that. She had a forced abortion, which was totally against her wishes. So, and then
because there wasn't wedlock. No fucking son of mine having a kid before getting married.
Exactly.
It's Alberto. I bought the condom factory just for that reason. There's only 10 fucking million ones in there. You couldn't have picked one out?
We got a whole cupboard full of them right next to the pasta.
That was your 9th birthday present.
Soon he's going to put down those crossword puzzles and start fucking.
Of course, Tommy Elliott was there and he was blowing fucking animal balloons with them, and I couldn't say anything, but...
I just love him screaming about like people sucking off balloons and all that, and just down the hall, my fiance's parents are there like, wait, so what's this podcast about?
Just, like they do what? What's with the circle jerk on top of the building?
Oh, he's American, yeah. No,
it's a 4th of July tradition, apparently. I'm kind of piecing this together, but...
Somehow Batman pops in every so often. I don't know. This is who you picked, huh? Well, yeah, I guess. Anyway, no, but they kind of got this whole point across that she was forced to have an abortion, and they disgraced it. They pretend like it never happened. And there's a picture of her pregnant with Alberto and all that. And then she knew she just wanted to kill as many people as she could in that family. So she was trying to plot them against each other, plot other families against them, do whatever she could. And being close to Harvey was the closest way to do it. So
that's why
she loved Harvey. So she loved Harvey, but for her own motives. And she even said, I loved Harvey, but I loved parts of Harvey.
Yeah, well, and she almost felt kind of bad because she's the one who almost got Harvey because he's fucking straining himself like, who the fuck's this holiday fucking killer? Just walking around the house like, God, it's right under my thumb. Like, literally, I feel like it's just right here. Like, I can smell it. I can fucking smell it, but I just can't fucking figure it out. God. Okay, me and the guys are gonna go hang out on the roof for a while. Don't come up. It's man time. We're gonna figure this out. Some point, we're gonna get it. We got, the soon-to-be world's best detective. We got the best DA ever award. It says it on a coffee cup, so you know it's true. And we got fucking Commissioner Gordon. We're gonna fucking figure this out.
I just like that. Like, okay, honey, just goes up to top of the stairs, like a Budweiser sign, lights it up. Budweiser sign's on. Boys are here. All right, you know the rules. And she's like, well, Jim's here, and is anybody else coming? Like, yeah, someone will be here soon. So just don't come. Well, should I lead him up there? He's coming.
He's here.
Yeah, don't worry about it. All right, he knows his way around.
He doesn't like stairs. He's one of those, doesn't like stairs. You know, kind of how wheelchair people don't like stairs. It's like that, but different.
A little more aerodynamic. I'm saying too much. All right, lights on. Bye. just hear muffled like. Oh, he's playing some Thin Lizzy again.
Oh, yeah, he's up there. The boys are back in town. Yes, they are. Oh. But I just love it's this thing about it. She's like, I literally drove my husband so crazy because I couldn't tell him my secret thing. She brought that one thing. I want to mention it maybe to him. Maybe he would have been okay with it, but I was just this close. It wasn't worth kind of risking it by this point, and then he breaks.
Yeah, I mean, things just kind of work themselves out. Well, that's another thing, that Batman pieces it together and confronts her. And I'm assuming he goes to the police, but we don't really see him do that.
That was the only part I thought was kind of weird, was the fact is like, I'm like, because she's like, oh, I'm getting rid of all this stuff. You think Batman would be like, no, you're not, honey. Get in the paddy wagon right now. You're getting fucking arrested. You know what I mean? Like, that seemed kind of un-Batman to let her get away with all that murder and just, like, walk out of there.
I'm not sure if he did or if he was just kind of like, we'll settle this later. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard.
It did kind of. It's not like, it did leave it open-ended, not like 100%, but it felt like a real Batman thing would be like, I don't give a fuck. You murder people. You broke the one Batman rule. You don't fucking ever murder. No matter how hard it seems, no matter how much you want it, you never do. So come on, you're going up to Arkham Asylum where you're going to become a worse criminal in the long run, but that's okay. That sells books later.
Something we didn't really talk about that much, but Calendar Man, I think it was kind of funny. Just like, even though he was there the whole time, he's basically being their Hannibal Lecter. I thought it was kind of funny. Just like after you see all the other villains broke out, just see him slamming his hands against the counter. He's just like, I said tails. I said tails.
Yeah, I love that. I also like that one too, where like the cop shows up and he's just like, hey, you know what day it is? He's like, yes, I do. All Hallows Eve, and he goes on this whole like speech and something like that. He's like, yeah, but what other day is it? What other day? Come on, you know, and the Kelly Man's like, it's Taco Tuesday. He's like, you're fucking Taco Tuesday. Hell yeah, you got it. Oh, here's your taco. I just love how that was that guard's like fucking thing that he loved the most out of everything is fucking Taco Tuesday.
He does that same thing with like everybody, like, hey, Croc, Killer Croc, Killer Moth.
It's like
it's alphabetical.
He's just really into it and so on. But yeah, beyond that, then it kind of goes. It's like, we'll just assume Gilda gets arrested. I just don't think Batman would let that happen. So Batman's like, okay, he goes back, and Alfred's just waiting for trick-or-treaters, and he's all like, dude, Alfred, what are you doing? Trick-or-treaters don't fucking show up. Look where we live. I mean, like, why don't we have 6, fences to get inside the house? It's to keep trick-or-treaters out. Duh.
Which is kind of a callback. That ending, that's set up for, like, we don't have trick-or-treaters out here. And then the ending is kind of a callback to Haunted Night, which is the third book of the series. But it's kind of, it doesn't have any big, like, story significance. It's just more of a, here's an anthology story with, an anthology series just with this writer and this artist again.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of has that, but then it's like, oh, what the fuck? Oh, honey, it's that fucking guy again. Like, how do you know? I can tell a chin anywhere. That's what they pay me for down in the office. This is the recognized chins. I'm the chin guy. It's how you hire people. You need a good chin. I mean, I know that. Doesn't mean that you're not going to be doing drugs if you have a good chin, but, still, just saying. Come on, Billy. Take the chocolate. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Boy, no, he spliced this shit.
And then did you see the second ending?
Yeah, the little, like, post-credit scene where it's just, like, they're letting you know, hey, this is going to be the extended universe thing. Yeah,
like Flash and Arrow are here. Oh, shit, what these guys want? Dude,
Alfred,
when I'm getting laid from the hours of 12 to 5, don't let anybody fucking in, trick-or-treaters or super friends.
Yeah, my super friends. But like, I'm even wondering if that whole bit right there was like just kind of like a little joke. I mean, I'm assuming they're setting things up because they had the thing, I want to say that was the same Superman from Man of Tomorrow that interacted with Flash and the Justice Society World War II one.
Yeah.
So even though we never saw Green Arrow, so I feel like that's probably going to be setting up, but I think it would be just funnier if they just like, no, we just came for the candy, just took a bunch of candy, just ran, just bolt out of there.
Just the most like,
like Green Arrow
has nothing to do with anything else in the entire movie, and there's this little tacked on ending.
Green Arrow just running. I was like, hey, wait up!
He's just on the Flash's back.
You said we wouldn't need the Aeromobile.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's weird because it's like the next movie that they had like on the DVD, they said like coming next, in the DCU, which a lot of times always isn't the next one. Sometimes they like kind of leapfrog each other, and there's like the hidden movies. But they're doing an Injustice one, which it's like one of those ones.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Which is like at first kind of like you kind of hear that and you're like, oh well, we had 2 games, and the games are pretty much like DCU movies that are interactive if you kind of think about it. But then it's like the animation and it's really cool looking, and the way that they've kind of designed the characters. So I was like, I mean, like no matter what, it's like I'm sold for it. And I guess it's sort of based off more of the comic book run of Injustice, which I know went on for like ever.
Yeah, Injustice is one of those things that, you know, I like it. It's a fun. I mean, I like it for the gameplay. The story's fine.
Yeah.
I never read any of the comics, but the thing is, it's just like I'm just tired of like evil Superman.
Yeah,
I feel like
agree.
it's like a few times I get it, or even situations where Superman is doing something he doesn't want to do and he has to fight someone. All right, I get that too. But I'm over evil Superman, and I'll still see it. I'm probably going to buy it. Actually, I will buy it more than likely when it comes out, because that's what I usually do with all these movies. And I'm sure it's going to be good, because even Injustice was an enjoyable story. But the thing about Injustice was the first game, it's a dark, messed up world, and then our DC heroes come into that world, and then good Superman has to fight bad Superman.
Yeah.
So that's the thing where there's kind of the payoff, where it's just like, it's just a shitty world, everything's fucked. And there's even that part in Injustice 2 where for a minute they team up and like, okay, the band's getting back together. When they turn on each other at the very end, it's like, fuck, okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and I'll give Injustice a little bit more credit, because like for the game-wise, it's like the whole point is like, well, you got a video game that's a fighting game. How are these superheroes going to fight each other? It's like, I feel like that's sort of why it's like that. We just need to figure out a reason why they're going to fight each other. It doesn't really have to be the greatest reason, but it just needs to be there. So for a fighting game-wise, you can make out why that's happening, you know. But but yeah, I do kind of feel, because I just feel like at the end of the day, I feel like, let's be honest, Superman, I feel like he has the similar control that Batman does. Like, he's not going to fuck up, like, you know, like, I think people just want to see Superman just for some reason go kind of like, he makes that one mistake and then it changes. I don't think Superman, the real Superman would never make that, I think, mistake. I think that's kind of one of those ones, you know, or even if he did make the mistake, he would work his way back from it. He wouldn't continuously fall down to, like, you know, totalitarian, like Superman, where he's like, never again, under my thumb. You know, no, I don't think it would be like that, but no, it still looks interesting. And then I know that you had the digital version, so you didn't get to see this, but if you do get the DVD of this movie, they had the Blue Beetle short on there, and they did it like in 1969 kind of animation style. So it was Blue Beetle and The Question. But like,
awesome.
Like they gave it, like, it looked just like those old, like kind of like the Aquaman, even like, you know, kind of proto Super Friends, like kind of Hanna-Barbera style, or even like the Spider-Man, the animated cartoon from back in the 60s. It had that kind of feel, but then I like, because even the animation, they gave it some of those like cheap kind of animation things. So like where it showed like a guy's like kind of like face and so on, you just almost see the arms sort of pop up and like move like this, and they would keep switching back from different weird angles and so on. And it was pretty fun and funny. I was like, oh, this, once again, those shorts are always very interesting and cool.
You have to check that out. Actually, I rented it on Prime Video. I actually have the physical copy waiting for me, sitting at my doorstep when I get back home. I just didn't time it out right. So it's going to know what's waiting for me when I get back. But I just rented this thing on Prime. And usually this thing was pretty awesome. And I want to watch them together to get more of the full experience. And so it feels more like the biggest, longest Batman movie made.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think that's totally the way to go. But yeah, that'd be fun to do. But till then, check out oldmanorange.com. More podcasts, comic books like Pizza Boys, all our old animations, and all that good stuff. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunnigan.
Hey, I'll see you some other time.
Later, folks.